Hello out there. Let me know you can hear me in the chat by commenting prayers for Kelvin Jr., prayers just to let me know that you can hear me. Excuse me. um, and thank you, Tamika D, Monica Jones, Purple Lady, Precious G. I can't pronounce that name, Saranacon or something. DB, Catherine, Rebecca. Now it's moving too fast for me. But thank you to everyone who commented to let me know that you can hear me in the chat below. I apologize for having to restart the countdown. All of a sudden, I was like just chilling, doing stuff, and thinking I had plenty of time. And then I realized, oh Lord, I never connected the Ethernet cord, and it paused a little bit. So I was like, I got to do that. And then went down there and stumped my toe on the coffee table and couldn't see because I've got to turn the light on in the in the room where the modem is. It was a whole thing. Then I had to use it. I was like, I got to run back up and just restart it. I just got to restart it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. And I was going to pre-record this video, but I have not been live in days, probably near a week. Well, with the masses, I have been live on our Patreon and our Veil Unfiltered live stream, and we'll be doing that again on tomorrow evening. I'll be checking the poll for all of our executive Patreon members, and those of you who may plan to join this week, just know that tomorrow we will be going live tomorrow evening. I don't have the exact time because I'm going to check the poll to see what time you all had voted for in our Patreon community. But that's housekeeping over there on that side. But everyone else here, please like and share this video. It definitely helps this channel grow. And we're going to get right into it. We're not going to waste a whole lot of time this morning because we're just coming with this story because I'm trying to get back in the flow of doing live streams because yeah, it's been a little issue over here. But anyway, today we're talking about fresh off the presses, Wendy Williams and her family. And I forgot to pull this in. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it in. But Wendy Williams and her family are once again in the news and dealing with issues related to her finances and what's going on with the with Wells Fargo having control over her estate or her finances at this point. And we don't know right now. We don't know how long this is going to last. It's already been nearly a year, and it's looking like we're going to have another Britney Spears situation. However, and we can say, you know, to some people, it might be, you know, they might consider that as necessary and it's definitely needed. I kind of tote the line a little bit on how I feel about it completely, and mainly for reasons like this. So according to the Daily Mail, Wendy Williams' son, Kelvin Jr., or Kevin, who's the age of 22, has been evicted from his $2 million Miami apartment and hit with a lawsuit for $70,000 in back rent because he could no longer pay due to Wendy Williams' medical issues, but primarily because Wells Fargo is holding on to that money and paying Wendy's bills that they deem are necessary and required bills. And so she's basically on an allowance and they're paying just what they think is necessary. So according to the Daily Mail, it says Wendy Williams' only child has been evicted from his luxury $2 million Miami apartment and hit with the lawsuit for $70,000. And it says Kevin, 22, was hit with the lawsuit in February this year. It came after Wendy's had her health issues, which led to court being put in charge of her finances after her Wells Fargo accounts were frozen in January. So that was January of this year. So we'll be looking at a year in another month that this has all been going on. Why isn't a family member in charge for her? That's up to the banks and the attorneys and stuff. And the court has to agree to that. I think there was conversation about in the very beginning her wanting to put her son in charge of her estate, but um, that was vetoed, and we'll get into that in a second. But it says Wendy's attorneys. Wait, make sure. Here we go. So it says, speaking to the court, her 22-year-old son explained in his filing that his mother had rented the apartment for him. He explained because of her health issues, all of the financial support he received from her stopped during, including his housing. So this is interesting to find out that he's not getting anything now. And it says that he's currently a full-time student, but had taken a year out of school because of COVID and looking after Wendy. And we know that to be true as far as in the very beginning, he was one of the people who was around Wendy. That's changed now. It says he had also told the court the situation spiraled very quickly and unexpectedly, and he did not know things would end up how they did. None of us saw this coming on this level. Says Kevin added that he would be moving out of the apartment on September the 7th. Wendy had been reportedly making $10 million a year or $50,000 an episode for the Wendy Williams show. And it says the lease started back in March of 2021 and ended in February this year after it had passed. Kevin agreed to continue, after the lease was over, Kevin had agreed to continue to rent the apartment on a monthly basis. I guess, once again, him thinking that his mom would be able to get a hold of her money and continue to pay his rent. It says, as it came to an end of the lease, Wendy had some health issues, which led to court being put in charge of her finances after Wells Fargo accounts were frozen in January. This was around the time that the overdue rent began to pile up. Wendy's accounts had been frozen by Wells Fargo in January because there were concerns that she was of unsound mind. And it says her bank also suspected financial exploitation, dementia, or undue influence, and she was placed in a financial guardianship, which we already know about that. So some of the word on the street, and I'm going to get to your comments about this, and then we'll move on to Kelvin Hunter. But some of the word on the street is that this apartment is actually what led to Wells Fargo stepping in. And some of you may remember, these glasses are just making me sweat and everything else. But some of you may remember that there was speculation that they were accusing Kevin Jr. of stealing or taking $100,000 from his mom. Now we find out that $100,000 was for 1 year of his rent in this luxury $2 million apartment. Now, so he was able to stay there for a full year based on that money, and now it's gone. Now it's due again, and he can't get the money from his mom or whatever. Now, how true it is that he took the money with her permission, without her permission, and all of that, that's all speculation. But that is what's being said, that this is the actual catalyst for what led Wells Fargo, or her advisor at the time, well, still her advisor now, to say, hey, there's something going on here. Maybe she knew that Wendy would not pay that kind of money for an apartment for her son. I think we all are fairly knowledgeable that Wendy was taking care of her son. He was a full-time college student. He was spoiled. I'll just say that. He was spoiled and all of that. And so I don't think that in her right mind, and if she had all her faculties today, that she would want her son to be homeless. So that's where I'm a little torn with the situation. I can see them saying, hey, now you need to get an apartment that's more reasonable, not $100,000 a year. That's some people's houses cost that. Like they could buy their house for that. So I could definitely see them making him move somewhere that's a lot more affordable than that. But like the fact that none of his, well, if this is true, what's alleged in this article, if none of his expenses are being taken care of, and his mom would have, but I don't know. The other side of it is, because I like to look at all sides, was Wendy's thing, like, well, if you're in college, I pay for your expenses. If you drop out of school or you're not in college, I don't pay for anything. That could be it too. And he's admitting that he's not in college, although he says, due to Wendy. But let's see what all of you are talking about. I'm going to look at the start comments. Says rent is necessary. I wonder if the apartment was in Wendy's name. So the apartment was not in Wendy's name, but it shows that the $100,000 that he put down was from Wendy's account. So she paid for it, but her name is not on the apartment. Monica Jones is saying her 22-year-old son probably should not be in charge of her funds. Not a good idea. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it when that was brought up, because I saw a lot of people in comments on our page under those videos I was doing on her saying they should just let her son. And I was like, yeah. And especially, and now we see why, because they're like, well, these are the kind of financial decisions her unemployed college student son is making, that he feels entitled to $100,000 a year apartment. And I would love to see where it's at. Now we could probably know, since he's been evicted. I would love to see this apartment, like $100,000. And I know New York is expensive and stuff, but $100,000 a year for a non-working student, college student? She's not a billionaire. And even if she was, I believe in making your kids, work for stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, Purpleator is saying, I'm surprised her sorry brother is not out here dropping her name to pick up a coin. He's messy. Yeah, we're talking about Tom. Well, Purple Lady is talking about Tommy Williams. Yeah, I'm sure he'll probably be saying something very soon. he'll probably have a video up this afternoon saying eviction Wendy Williams' brother. So you clickbait. And then be talking about how he went jogging today. So there's that. Anyway, what did he need a $2 million apartment for? Nothing. Yeah, flexing for the gram. Is he on Instagram? I don't know. Trikesha is saying the Neighborhood Talk has an exclusive with Wendy's publicist, and it says that the conservator moves super slow with paying Wendy's bills, so maybe other bills aren't being paid. I guess that's possible as well. It seems like I could get slow, but they're saying his rent hasn't been paid since February. So that's beyond slow. That's delinquency. Me doing me. This is what happens when the court's lawyers find a way to extort the victim. Happens all the time. The court did it to my grandmother. Had $250,000 in the bank. Wow, that's crazy. Sorry, that happened to your grandmother. Hopefully, you guys are getting it resolved, or has been. Also, his mother is Wendy Williams. He couldn't pull some strings to get a job. Not even part-time. Everyone wants to live off Wendy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not that he could not. He probably, and the truth is, he wouldn't need Wendy to probably get a job. But he probably never worked a day in his life. Probably has no interest in it. Yvette says, excuse me, it's time for all these grown men in her life to get a job and pay their own bills. A $2 million apartment is ridiculous for a college student with a mother suffering. Right. And it could be, and I'm hoping that this is more of a situation of her, the conservator of her finances is saying, yeah, you're going to get kicked out of that one, because we're going to force you into something that's more reasonable, that we will cover for you for a reasonable amount of time. Not that he should be on her dime for the rest of his life, especially given this situation. Like, finish college. We're going to take care of you till you finish college. Maybe give you a year after that to get you a good job, and then you on your own, buddy. And maybe if your mama get better, she'll give you a couple dollars here or there. I would hope she has some kind of trust for him or something. But you never know. Sometimes these very rich people don't take care of their business either. Don Smart says, that's so insane, $100,000 for an apartment. Right. For 1 year, only 1 year. Precious G, if you drop out of college, I'm not paying anything for you. But while you're in college, of course, I will take care of you like I did my son. Right. I totally agree. And that's what I was saying. So the other part of this story is what came out a few days ago, and it was on my radar. I didn't come out here and I ain't say nothing to y'all about it. I was gonna cover it in a Hot Topics live where I was going to talk about a few topics. But anyway, this thing here, this dude, Kelvin Hunter, is also having financial issues that are directly related to Wendy Williams. And his thing was that he saying he was also impacted, and he last week claimed that he could face foreclosure if his alimony payments did not resume. His alimony payments had been agreed as part of their divorce and suddenly stopped in February of 2022. Says her ex-husband asked the court to make an order for Wendy's guardian to continue making payments under the severance agreement. So he wants his money from the severance agreement. When he was working at the Wendy Williams show, he was an employee. He was an executive producer. When he got terminated, the day she divorced him, she was like, get out of here. They escorted, they wouldn't let him in the building no more and all that stuff. So the agreement was that he would get a severance package for that. So he's saying he's not getting his severance package, nor is he getting his alimony from Wendy Williams for being her husband or ex-husband. He says he had been fully dependent on the payments to live and has fallen behind on most of his bills. So you just laid up on Wendy Williams' money after you cheated on her and had a baby on her. Now you got her. Now you want her to take care of you and your new baby mama, and that's what she get too. The baby mama. That's what she gets. Sharina Hudson. Now y'all gonna be broke. Now let's see how in love you are. Says Kevin told the court in his filings, I currently live in a community that requires payments to the homeowners association, and I'm behind on that bill. If the homeowners association fees are not paid, foreclosure will soon follow. Yeah. Oh, well. Okay, so looks like you need to find a new place to live. So what they're saying is that part of the agreement that Kelvin Hunter signed, because Wendy has better attorneys, of course, is that there was a stipulation in this agreement saying that if Wendy Williams was unemployed or making less money, that they could either modify or completely suspend or revoke his payments. And so her attorney is currently saying that Wendy Williams is unemployed. She's not bringing in any income at this point. She's just living off what she got. She got a lot. She got quite a few million, but she's living off that. And so they decide we're not going to modify it. We're just going to end it. She ain't got no new money. You don't get nothing. So I'm like, that wasn't smart on his part or his attorney's part to even agree to that. It would be like, no, as long as she got money, I should be getting a piece of it. But anyway, so that's that with that. So we'll see. It just looks like he ain't getting nothing, but I'm saying a lot of narc conversations about him and all of that. Yeah, because he was just on his live probably a month ago now, crying, a little over a month, crying about Wendy and people not supporting her and her not having help and all this stuff. But then you over here like, keep running me this money, even though I know you're not working. So I'm depleting what you've saved. And right, Kelvin Senior better have a garage sale, right? Yeah, I was gonna say a garage sale of that garage that Wendy spray painted in that movie. I think it happened in real life where she spray painted Wendy and Kelvin forever on the garage door of the house that he had bought for Sharina with her money. But yeah, and are we supposed to care? Because we don't. Yeah, that's how I feel about this. And then the other part is like he flexing for the gram too, because this dude driving like Bentley trucks and all of this. He bought Sharina the Ferrari with Wendy's money. I know Wendy repossessed it. I don't know if she ever got it back, if Sharina ever got it back. But anyway, he's driving all these fancy cars. On top of that, I know he claims to own businesses in Florida. I think even in New York. But I know he was talking about opening a restaurant. Serena has a clothing line that seems to do nothing, um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But supposedly he has things going on outside of what he did with Wendy or the money he made from Wendy, supposedly. But now he's telling the court that all my bills are falling behind and I can't even pay my homeowner association fees, which generally they shouldn't be a ton. I would hope that house that he's in is even paid off. So I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to share that part of the story with y'all. Let's see what y'all talking about in the comments, and I ain't gonna hold y'all much longer because we just doing this one little story and just to get my feet wet again, and then we'll come back to you in another live sometime. Old School says his mother is Wendy Williams. He couldn't pull. I thought I unstarted that. Thank you for your comment. I wonder what Kevin Sr. did with all his money. Right. And that's basically what I was just saying, Gabby, because he claimed to have other businesses. He's gotten payments from her before. Are you literally running through every dime every month that you were getting it? Because wouldn't he have gotten money from her for close to a year prior to them stopping payments? Close to it. Precious G is saying, now this leech needs a job because I thought this dude had open restaurants and he better sell those cars. We're saying the same thing. I didn't see. I don't know if you commented right at what I was talking about before. D Baby says, how was he awarded alimony when he was the one cheating? Yeah, I don't think they had a prenup. I think that's part, because that doesn't automatically get you out of alimony just because you cheated. I think it has to be a stipulation in, and I think it depends on the state too. I think that plays a part in it, the law in the particular state you guys are filing in, all that. But yeah, it's probably because they didn't have a prenup and all that stuff. Zen Fraser says he is so sorry. Yeah. And then he was trying to, on top of that, Kelvin was trying to get more money from Denmark Mercury, or trying to sue them. Now I'm forgetting the particular. I feel like I did that story, but he was trying to sue them. I don't know if you guys remember that. So yeah, he's trying to get money wherever he can, which means he's not as good at these businesses, I guess, as he thought he was or was going to be. I have absolutely no sympathy for her ex. Yeah, join the club. It's all looks like we having a party over here. The no sympathy party. Only prayers for Kevin Jr., not Kelvin Sr. Sharon Freeman says, so she's supposed to take care of black man and child, baby mama rather, and child to get out of here, bum, period. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, the nerve. Miss Matthews says HOAs, foreclosures typically occur when the bank isn't getting their mortgage payments. How did the HOA factor their payments in that contract to please pursue contracts before sign? I do know that some homeowner associations, it takes a long time, but some of them can have the power to get, it might be in their contract and all of that they can foreclose on the house or force them to sell or something like that for not paying the homeowner, especially when you get into those very high end HOAs or communities. Also, imagine being a grown man laid up with his mistress, no job, and waiting on a check from his ex-wife to pay his bills. We cannot make this mess up. Yeah, and this story with Wendy is so layered. It's her health issues, it's her mental health, it's her, her home life, it's her new business associates, it's so many. And then you get into her family. You got her brother who got the YouTube channel, who just clicks and views and clout chasing, whatever. And then you got, the ex-husband, and now you got the son, and who knows how legitimate this is. Like, did he get the apartment without her taking advantage of her failing health at the time, mental failing health? Or was she on board for real and lucid and said, hey, son, you deserve this. Go ahead and here go my checkbook, write the check for $100,000. I'm gonna pay you rent for a year on that place. And next year we'll re-up. Like, we don't know. But it's so many layers to this. And then Wells Fargo, of course, all that. Miss Matthews says they claim she isn't mentally stable to manage her already earned dollars, yet they want her to work and bring in new dollars. Side, yeah, exactly. Because that's what he was. Kelvin was on his live stream crying about how she was falling apart and all this. It's like, dude, well, part of what you can do to help is get out of her pockets. Kingdom Girl ATL, I'm totally here for Kelvin Hunter and his side piece being set out on the streets. Right. Yeah. Yeah, because especially I always look like in my head mentally, go back to that picture of Sharina. And this was when Wendy's show was still on. Wendy was denying these claims. The rumor about the baby being on the way had come out. And she was like, everything's good in Hunterville, all that. That's what Wendy's on. But that was after the picture Sharina put out with her and Kelvin at the beach, and she doing all this with Kevin next to her, like all in Wendy's face, driving a Ferrari that Wendy didn't pay for. So when moments like this happen, I tend to go back to that space, like who's giving the pucker face now. Kevin is a Virgo. Most of them are usually frugal, tight with a buck. Hopefully he has secret stash. Yeah, I'm sure he does. Honestly, I'm sure he does on some level. Now the question is it going to be enough that can right, they Nicole M, HOAs can place a tax lien. Yeah, there's ways for them to take his house, to eventually get his house taken, for sure. But yeah, so I just wanted to come to you guys real quick with this video because I don't want to pre-record it because it's going to take hours to come out. Oh, thank you so much, Miss Dalton, for your super chat. Says, this is why you need to always have a little nest egg tucked away. God bless the child that has his own. It never works out in your favor when you're trying to ride off something someone else has built. That is a word. And that's a great word for us to close out on. I just wanted to remind you, if you're a part of the Patreon community or you want to become a part of the Patreon community, we will be having our hold on, yeah, my computer's freezing everything. We'll be having our live stream tomorrow, our Veil Unleashed exclusive live stream only on Patreon. It is pinned in the chat, and also will be in our description area of every video, but also will be pinned in the first comment of this video when I get off of here. So if you want to join that, also don't forget about our Facebook community, our Veil's Important People Facebook community, where we have a lot of fun over there, and the fun continues. They hear from me every day, all day, even when I'm not on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of that, definitely join us. It's well worth it. And our text community. But all of that will be in the comment below. And don't forget about our merch store, the I Am Veil B merch store. Again, it'll all be pinned below. So with that, until next time. Oh, thank you to my moderators on the front end, Precious G, Don Smart, and Alice Blessed Child of God, who is behind, and Gilly Q and Marianne Coker. And if I'm missing anybody, thank you as well. But with that, until next time, I will see you guys later, and maybe this evening for our Surviving Darius Crooks live. I'm trying to work on my energy for that, and I got to prepare some stuff. So y'all just let me know in the chat below if y'all really want me to come back for that later on this evening. But with that, until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.